I call this Town of Adams Board of Selectmen's meeting to order Wednesday, October 15th, 2025. This meeting is being recorded. If anyone in the audience would like to record part or all of this meeting, please inform the chair. You can do that, but just in iBurchers. Okay. Next on the agenda is Pledge of Allegiance. Would everyone please stand and join the board in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. All right, next is approval of minutes, and we do have a minor error under A, it states September 25th, 2025. The actual date is September 24th, 2025. The minutes in the packet have the correct date. I'm asking for unanimous consent from the board to update Agenda A from September 25th, 2025 to September 24th, 2025. Is everybody okay with that?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, so what is the board's pleasure?
I'll make a motion that we change the approval of minutes under A from September 25th, 2025 to September 24th, 2025.
Okay, motion by Ann,
I'll second.
second by Christine. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, none, unanimous decision. Now we're back to September 24th, 2025 minutes, and we also have October 1st, 2025 minutes. What is the board's pleasure?
I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes as they were read for September 24th, 2025.
You're going to waive the
As-
reading.
Waive the reading of the minutes.
Okay, accept them as
And
presented.
accept them as approved.
Okay. Motion by Ann, do you have that?
She's only done one date.
Just the 25th. We'll do them separately. It's okay. Okay, September 24th. All right, we have a motion by Ann. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Christine. Any discussion on the 24th?
Yeah, I'd like to just, what Ann said at the end, the minutes that have been improved and they haven't been improved till we vote on it.
I'm sorry, I
That's
had
okay.
a rough
That's all
day
right.
today.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Anyone else? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Non-unanimous decision. Next, we have the October 1st, 2025.
I make,
Go ahead.
I'm,
Okay, go ahead.
I make a motion to waive the reading of the minutes and to approve as such as presented for October 1st, 2025.
Motion by Ann. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Jay. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Non-unanimous decision. Next, we have public comment. Anyone in the audience who would like to address the board on any topic?
Yeah. Yeah.
Hi, Bill.
Hey, Bill.
Hi, Bill. So I have a letter from William Beals dated 10/15/25. Would you like me to read it out loud?
Yeah.
Okay. You're welcome. I am having difficulty crossing Route 8 Park Street. The cars going in one direction will stop when they see me in the crosswalk, but the cars coming from the opposite direction keep coming. I do have my lights on at night. Thank you for your consideration in this matter. William Beals.
Okay.
I'd like to comment on that. I think Bill is exactly right. I've witnessed the same thing of myself.
Do you want to read? Go ahead.
You cross the road and then you feel like you're safe, but the people coming in the other direction don't stop, so you're caught in the middle. And for a person like Billy, who is in a wheelchair, Something's got to be done about it because it's commonplace in this town. You might not think so, but a lot of people I see, like particularly coming out of church, people are halfway across. I almost got hit one day. 2 cars stopped each direction, but a guy went right around near the fire department, nearly clipped me. And this is happening a lot in this town, and I'm sure communities all over, but there needs to be a way to stop this. And all I can see is that, you know, we need police in the area at certain times. I remember I asked to have a policeman, at least in the winter and time when it becomes dark earlier, to cross people across from the church. It used to be commonplace for the police department to do that. And it hasn't been done for an awful lifetime. And I asked to have it instituted. I was told, yeah, we'll do it. Never transpired. So I think there needs to be something put in place where people crossing the roads feel safe. I know that where we have the lights that are blinking, like at the school and some of them near Walgreens and elsewhere, they work pretty well. Okay, Bill, what do you got to say? That's right, they do drive fast. He's saying that he's getting pissed off. He's afraid he's gonna get hit. He's been hit before. People need to slow down.
They're driving through the red lights.
Yeah. Billy, we'll look into this and do our best to help you all. I talk to Billy a lot when I see him on the streets, and he's brought this up to me many times, right, Bill? We've talked.
Chief will come back and talk with him.
We've talked a lot about it, and I agree with you. I think a lot of the selectmen here agree with you too. We have to find a way to stop people from going fast. And you getting in the middle and one lane stops, but then you think the other cars are gonna stop and they don't. People going through red lights, going too fast. I agree with you. Billy, we'll talk to the police about this. And you've been down to the police department before telling them, right? Yeah? Yeah, I know you have. You told me.
So I can reach out to our acting chief of police and make sure that he is aware, and I'll have a conversation. You're welcome.
Yeah, you're welcome, Bill. Thanks for coming in and let us know. Thank you.
Thanks, Bill.
Okay. All right, anyone else from the audience who would like to, under public comment, talk to the board, address the board? State your name, organization, or business.
Dave Bazillion, 9 Townview Lane. I will also agree with what was just shared. As you know, my office is on Park Street in Adams, and we're always concerned about the speed of traffic. And I know it's not just Adams; it's in a lot of places. But I think that's a fair conversation to have, especially as more and more people are coming into the town of Adams. And so I think that's a legitimate concern for all of us to have. I really just wanted to take less than 2 minutes, I hope, to just commend the town and thank the town and the organizations who were responsible for what was just a remarkable past weekend over the last 4 days. It was very hard to keep up with everything that was happening in Adams between Friday and Monday, and I think we need to celebrate that when good things happen. I think downtown you had the Ramble Fest, which took place on Saturday this year. You had the church bazaar on Sunday. You had the train rides. They were all bringing people downtown, which is terrific. At the theater on Park Street, you had a concert on Friday night. You had a class reunion on Saturday night. You had a silent film on Sunday night, and they also had a craft fair there. And all of those events were bringing people downtown. And then, as if that wasn't enough, up at the Greylock Glen all weekend, and it's nice to see Dan Doyle here tonight. You had hikes going on, you had yoga classes, you had live entertainment 3 days in a row up there, you had a woodcraft showcase, you had a fireside chat, you mixed that in with a homecoming dance photo session. It was remarkable, and not to mention there was a football game over the weekend, there was a hay wagon ride, and that little old event, the Ramble, that we've been doing since 1965. So while it's a small sample set, it's one weekend, and I tried to go to many of these events, and I know a lot of you did as well. It just tells me that what we're doing in Adams over the last few years and setting ourselves up for the future is certainly bringing people to town. And I know we have challenges, and I know we'll talk about challenges tonight, and it's been a challenging year. But I would say to the incoming town administrator, and I know we're getting close, and to the others, let's not overlook what we have going on right now. It really is remarkable, and the more that we can do together, collaboratively, private sector, public sector, to welcome these visitors to town, to provide things to do for our residents, to work together where it makes sense, so that in the end, it really improves the quality of life for all of us, I think really should be our goal. And so I just wanted to make sure that I stopped down here tonight, just to thank all of you for your role in this, and let you all know that, you know, what I see from my perspective is just so much opportunity in this town, and we really are attracting people. There were a lot of strange faces in town, and it was wonderful. So just a great weekend, Adams, and we should be proud of that, and we should work from that. So thank you.
Thank you, Dave. Anyone else who would like to address the board?
Kathy Foster, Murray Street. I had a couple of things I wanted to talk about. One is I was looking in the audience at your tracking sheet for open meeting violations, and I'm wondering why every one of them gets referred to town council when it's very clear that some of them could be resolved.
We can talk about that during the agenda item.
Will I be able to have input
Yeah,
too?
you can speak.
Okay. The other thing is, I think you all know that I was part of the citizens petition to request that the Board of Selectmen give information about the Glen. And I know that from things that you've said that you're putting all of your intentions for that on Dan Doyle. I want to explain something about that, though. One of the reasons that it was very specifically said that any one or more of the selectmen should be involved in that is because I have this feeling that you as a board, you don't have a lot of information about the Glen. And it seems like you don't want to answer questions, and maybe that's just because you can't answer all the questions. And sometimes it's okay to say, I can't answer that. But I feel like if you prepared yourselves enough to have one or two of those meetings, that fear would probably go away, because now you would know about the Glen, you'd be able to share that information, we'd have a nice open conversation. And one of the complaints that a lot of people in this town have is the lack of transparency. And I really think, I think it's great that Dan's involved, and I think I've heard nothing but good things about Dan. He had a great event there the other night, and it's also a little bit disappointing that the only selectman that went was Joe. And I think it's great if Dan's involved, but I think as a board, you folks should learn a little bit more too about the mission of the Glen, about the history of the Glen, about how much has been spent up there. There's all aspects of it, and you guys are like the chief officers of this town. You really need to know about our most important investment. So that's just how I feel about that. And to set the record straight, on one of your prior minutes, where it's a few months ago, where John, you said that you were talking about getting some kind of not a commission, but an advisory committee going. The minutes say that I got up and said that will satisfy the citizens petition, but that's not actually what I said. So the minutes are incorrect on that. And I wanted to explain exactly why I thought that one or more of you folks, and I don't care if it's one each time or the same person every time, but I just thought I would give you more information about that.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else who'd like to address the board? Okay.
Johnny got one.
Oh, sure, go ahead, sorry.
Your night would not be complete without me coming to say hello. I have a couple of things and nothing prepared. I wanted to talk about the town email system. seems to have been some amount of malfunctioning. I've sent emails to the Board of Health, and Holly included you, and later John, I think, included you as well, and you guys received the emails. But apparently the board members did not, even though I did them to their town emails, and in one case that bounced back, I went onto the website and clicked and sent it through the town website. I'm trying to ask for an appeal in a public hearing, and I've sent them 3 letters now. The second one was just kind of a follow-up. The second one they responded to via regular mail. But it seemed like from what they wrote, they had never received the appeal request to begin with. I also reached out individually to them, like via Facebook, just saying, hey, I'd like to request you make sure your town email is working. And that's it. So I'm not sure how best to reach them, and I'm concerned because it's kind of an important, to me and to my business, appeal, which I think can be handled fairly quickly, but needs to happen, or at least be addressed. And I'm not sure how to do that. I did, and this bleeds into something later about public records requests. In confusion, I did send a public records request asking about emails received to, from, and between the Board of Health, the new Board of Health members, about me or my property, and it came up that there are no responsive records, which I've asked Haley to help me figure out what happened. How did they respond to the second one if there were nothing, they had seen nothing, and what happened to the other ones, and why is there nothing there? So, I don't know, the rest could be talked about with the public records stuff, which if you want, I can save till later, Mr. Chairman, or I can talk about now, it's up to you.
Oh, why don't we talk to your first couple points? Holly,
Yeah.
you want to respond to them?
So I know that Haley has reached out to our IT department to find out what has been happening. I don't have a response from IT yet, and they did confirm that all of their emails are working as of right now.
Okay.
But we do not have, they haven't gotten back to us on the IT. I didn't see an email. Okay. Sorry. Thanks, Haley.
I believe that I emailed Ms. Foley this afternoon and asked her if she can provide me with the 3 emails that she's referring to, then I can then reach out to our IT and
Sorry.
figure out what happened to all those emails.
Okay.
Yes, thank you.
Thank
And
you.
I had to come straight here from meetings, so I will do that, I promise. So I guess that's one thing, and the other would be to follow up with, I know Holly and Mr. Duval, you've been, maybe all of you, I can't remember at this point. What is the status of this meeting with Mr. Ryan Miller et al. Or not?
So we were waiting for so when we received the emails about the appeal, we were waiting for, you were not going to be available tonight for it. Your dates for the appeal hearing, I think you said that you were not available last night or tonight for those, because the Board of Health met today. And they didn't put your appeal on the docket because you said you weren't going to be available for those.
Okay, but they have my appeal now?
I do not know. I'm going to find out.
Okay,
'cause,
thank you.
I was working with Dave Ryan Miller, sorry.
There's a lot of people.
So we do know that you have an appeal because I have received it, and that's where we're really trying to figure out why did our 3 people on the Board of Health not receive it. And with you not being available to meet with them tonight, it'll have to be at the next meeting.
Okay, whatever that is. Yeah, I had meetings in Pittsfield until 5
that's fine.
o'clock, so. And anything else that I might want to say about public records requests? Do you want me to save it?
Why don't you bring it up now, because, yeah, we'll bring it up right now.
Okay, so my name is in here a couple of times, and I do think it's a really good thing to be looking at.
Can I hold you, because I thought it might be something separate from this, so we'll wait until the agenda item.
Oh, sure.
I thought you had something separate from that, okay.
Yeah.
We'll wait. Thank you. Anyone else like to address the board? All right. Moving on to ratification. The first one, the only one is Thomas Winsek, part-time fill-in transfer for the transfer station attendant at $18 per hour. Holly?
So this letter is to advise the Board of Selectmen that Thomas Winsick has been appointed as part-time fill-in transfer station attendant at the Adams Transfer Station as provided in Section 10 of the Town Charter. I am pleased to present Mr. Winsick for your ratification this evening. I have received Tim Coda's recommendation letter, and contingent upon successfully passing and completing any higher requirements of the Town of Adams, Mr. Winsick will begin his employment on or about October 11th, at a rate of $18 an hour. That is an error on my form. He wouldn't start till tomorrow. So that would be the 16th. Once ratified, Mr. Winsick will assist on an as-needed basis to cover staffing gaps due to absences, vacations, or other operational needs at the transfer station. This employment decision is part of our ongoing efforts to ensure uninterrupted operations and services at the town's transfer station to its residents.
I'd like to make a motion to ratify the appointment of Tom Winsek, I call it Polish way, Thomas Winsek, as part-time fill-in transfer station attendant at an hourly rate of $18.
Motion made by Joe. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Christine. Any discussion?
I think my only question is how many people does this give us for part-time fill-ins?
Just, so there's just the main person there.
Yep.
And then this one fill-in.
Okay.
So in the past, just to piggyback on, I remember there was a Harrington that was part-time, so he decided to leave as his part-time position?
I'm sorry that I do not know.
Okay. Because we ratified his appointment not that long ago.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None, unanimous decision. No old business this evening. Item 7, new business. Item A, discuss town administrator candidate interview process. Holly, you start it off.
So the screening committee has met, they have held interviews, and they have completed their portion of the process. So we would like to thank the screening committee. It was made up of Jonathan Butler, Jerome Sokoloff, Jackie Kelly Olson, Carol Cushnet, Sarah Fontaine, and Robert Pitko. So thank you to them for their service.
Yes, thank you. Anything else on that agenda item?
Not for me.
Moving on to B, the candidates for town administrator. First one is Nicholas Kakamo from Pittsfield, Mass. The second individual is Dylan Maxfield from Amherst, Mass. And the third individual is Peter White from Pittsfield, Mass. Ann, could you please read that letter from Jonathan Butler?
Okay, just let me find it, okay. Board of Selectmen, Town of Adams, from Jonathan Butler, Town Administrator, Screening Committee Chair, dated October 4th, 2025, regarding the Adams Town Administrator recruitment final recommendations. Attached, please find the cover letters and resumes of 3 finalists recommended for interview by the Board of Selectmen. The initial recruitment solicitation was distributed to over 300 prospective candidates on July 18th, 2025, to coincide with the position being posted on the Massachusetts Municipal Association and various job websites. A second solicitation was sent out approximately 3 weeks later. Every effort was made to inform potential candidates about the opportunity. The committee was very pleased with the pool of applicants. It was rich, especially considering the limited talent pool that currently exists around Western Massachusetts. All qualified candidates received a questionnaire, underwent preliminary screening, and were subject to some limited reference checks. All final candidates have agreed to participate in this public interview process. 16 applications were received, of which 8 of the applicants have served in a chief administrative or municipal department leadership role. The committee selected 6 candidates to interview, one of whom withdrew from consideration after receiving other interview offers in communities closer to their home. Attached is the list of questions asked of each candidate interviewed. After careful consideration and deliberation, we recommend that the board consider the following candidates as finalists: Nicholas Kokomo, Pittsfield, Mass; Dylan Maxfield, Amherst, Mass; Peter White, Pittsfield, Mass. The list of recommended finalists have demonstrated themselves as silent, high-performing professionals. Each has experience as a manager or leader and a successful performer in their current community and is well-regarded in the field. The 3 finalists provide the board with some variety. Any of the 3 should have the capacity to serve Adams well.
Thank you. Any discussion on the candidate list or the process that got us to this point? We're going to talk about the interviews in the next agenda item.
Yeah, I would just like to ask, I'm not saying Jonathan Butler shouldn't have been the chairman, but when that was made, he was automatically the chairman. Who made that call to allow Jonathan Butler to be the chairman of the Oversight Committee?
I believe that was me, and it was identified, I think, at the meeting on the list.
Well, could you please give that to me, find it for me? Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. But the chair can appoint committees.
Yes, they
and
can.
The chair can appoint.
Yeah, right, right.
So that's my.
I'm not saying it didn't make sense, but
Okay. Gotcha. All right, so that's it for that agenda item. Moving on to C, the interviews to take place Saturday, October 25th, beginning at 8 a.m. at 8 Park Street, Adams, which is this room here. Holly, let's start it off.
So we do have an interview scheduled for Saturday, October 25th, 2025, at 8 a.m. You will interview Peter White, at 9:30 a.m. Nicholas Kokomo, and at 11 a.m. Dylan Maxfield. I do have a little bit about each of the candidates. Peter White is a Pittsfield, Massachusetts resident who holds a Bachelor's of Arts degree in history from the Massachusetts College of Liberal Arts in North Adams. Peter, the recipient of many awards for his commitment to public service as an elected city councilor during the past 20 years, has served as the Pittsfield City Council president since January of 2024. Additionally, Peter's professional career outside the city of Pittsfield includes roles as a career and business specialist for Massability, program coordinator for the Hamlin Street Reach Out program, and various other critical roles managing and coordinating educational services related to employment training. Nicholas Kokomo is current town administrator of Williamsburg, Massachusetts since May of 2021. He is also a Pittsfield resident. Professionally, Nick has also served as a research assistant for the University of Massachusetts in Amherst and as a guidance counselor and teacher at the Bart Charter School here in Adams. Nick holds a Bachelor of Science degree in secondary education from Champaign College in Burlington, Vermont, and 2 Master of Science degrees from the University of Massachusetts Amherst in regional planning and public policy and administration. Nick served as Pittsfield City Councilor from January 2013 to December of 2021. Dylan Maxfield is current Associate Assistant Planner for the City of East Hampton, Massachusetts. He is a resident of Amherst, Mass., and professionally, Dylan has served as a senior analyst for Synovian Pharmaceuticals and a Technician 3 working at Framingham State University. Dylan has served the town of Amherst as the chair of its Board of License Commissioners and Zoning Board of Appeals. He holds a Bachelor's of Art in Business and IT from the University of Massachusetts Amherst and a Certificate of Local Government and Leadership Management from Suffolk University.
Could you go over the questions, that process, how we're doing that?
Certainly. We have asked each of the 5 Board of Selectmen members for 5 questions, which we will compile into a group of approximately 10, so that everybody's questions can make it onto the list. And then there will also be an opportunity, so all of those questions will be the same, but the board will be allowed to ask follow-up questions of the interviewees at that time.
And finally, we also plan on inviting each of the individuals over the next week to give them a tour and to meet the staff.
Yes.
And we'll work to set that up.
Okay.
Right, okay.
Yes, we are.
Which was done the last time, and we did a town administrator search. Okay, discussion on the process for the interviews of the town administrator.
I just have a clerical matter. Dylan's first name is spelled differently on a couple of different things. So, but looking at his resume, it looks like it's just Dillon. There's no ION.
You're correct.
So I just, before the agenda is posted for the 25th, if we could just make sure that
Yeah.
it's spelled correctly.
Thank you.
Yeah, I have a question. That Suffolk Leadership Program, that's administered by MMA, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, and was there something on that resume of his that had something to do with One Berkshire? I think I remember seeing something. One that was sent to me in our group?
I'm looking,
Okay.
because I don't know off the top of my head.
If you can't find it, I'll follow up on it, if you can't find it right now,
I'm not finding it right
Okay.
now.
okay?
Okay. And that meeting, the interviews will be open to the public.
Yeah, may I please say, please come down if you're interested in the future of this town. This is going to be a major decision, and I would like to see some people here listening to what our three candidates have to say about the future of our community. Because there's going to be a lot of important decisions needed to be made.
Okay, so the interviews are on the Saturday, the 25th.
Did you find something, Ann?
No.
Okay,
Not on Dylan.
okay.
All right, so the interviews are on Saturday, the 25th. And what we can do, if the board agrees, up to the board, that we will make our final, we will deliberate and discuss our decision on Wednesday, November 5th, which is a public meeting, regular meeting in front of the cameras. Is the board okay, unanimous consent, that we will make our decision November 5th, so we have time after the interviews to think, put some thought into it, then we come prepared for the 5th to deliberate in public? Okay, we'll put that on November 5th agenda. Okay, anything else in regards to the town administrator interviews and choice, selection? All right. We're on new business item D, discuss and approve facilities request for the annual Halloween parade on 10/26/25. I believe Sarah's here. Is Sarah here?
She's here.
Oh, okay. So the agenda item, let's see.
Sarah Klein, representing Adams Lions Club.
Awesome. Would you like to go over anything, or? Okay.
Not really. We'd like to carry on the tradition of the Halloween parade. I'd like to preface this by saying this, I said I'd make a phone call, and somehow this all ended up in my lap. I guess it happens a lot, right? I mean, we've all been there, right?
Oh, yeah.
I'll make a phone call for you. So we're looking at a week from this Sunday, stepping off at 3 p.m. We've been in touch with Amanda Watroba from the Hoosick Valley High School Band. She's more than happy to participate. I've spoken to the fire wardens and John Pansecki and both are on board, just sort of waiting for the green light from you folks. And so I had an initial conversation with Acting Chief Malloy when she was in that role. And my understanding is a fellow Lions member reached out to Acting Chief Sorrell, who notified the Lions member that Officer Dabrowski would be the contact. And they seem to be on board. I think you might have some paperwork that they signed off on, maybe? That was my understanding.
Yeah.
I know that Chief Sorrell spoke with them this morning because I transferred the call, so we're all set there.
And my understanding is the Friends of the Library will be present
Yes, they will.
to maybe pass out books and candy,
What we are
maybe?
planning to do is we are going to have Halloween bags for them, and I believe we're going to put a bag of chips, and then they are going to be able to pick out a book.
That's awesome.
That was the way it was explained to me the other day. I don't think we're just going to put them in the bags. They can pick out a book and take it with them.
Awesome. What do you think of that, Mita? So also, my understanding is there's not a rain date. However, we've asked for the use of the Adams Visitor Center. Weather permitting, we will just serve from there, hot dogs and some other snacky stuff and candy. However, if rain hinders the parade, we would accept costumed and otherwise children to come anyhow to the visitor center, and we'll still provide a snack and a beverage.
Okay, any questions from the board or anything
I'll just
else?
say one last thing. So my understanding is we're stepping off from behind the old South Adams Savings Bank to Center Street to Park Street, continuing on to either Maple or Hoosick, depending on which way the officer leads us, and then commencing or ending at the visitor center to have some other festivities.
Okay. Any discussion, or do we?
Just one question, Sarah. What time is it going to start?
3 o'clock is a step off.
Okay, good. So it'll be mainly during the light hours?
Correct.
Okay.
All right, do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the facilities request form for annual Halloween parade on 10/26/2025, stepping off at 3 p.m. from the old South Adams Savings Bank parking lot and going to the Adams Community Center,
Visitor Center.
Visitor Center.
Motion by Ann, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Christine. Any final discussion?
Yeah, it's kind of a new parking lot now.
I know, how exciting.
Yeah.
And thank you to the Lions.
Safety first.
Yeah, thank you to the Lions Club and yourself. You guys do
Yeah.
wonderful things.
And of
for
course,
the
you're all
community.
invited to attend, preferably in costume, but, if you choose to come as an Adams Select Board member, that would be okay
That
too.
would be scary enough.
Thank you.
So we have a motion second. Any final discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? None unanimous. Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, next is E, Adams Open Meeting Law Complaints Tracking Spreadsheet. Holly, you want to start it off?
So this came through, a board member had requested this information, and you can see on the tracking sheet the date of the complaint, the complainant, the topic, and the disposition. So that first chart in your packet. So we are bringing this information forward for transparency.
All right, any discussion on that?
Yeah,
No?
I'd like to say this is caused a precedent. I am going to be coming in, and I am going to be asking for facts and figures and money. This has set a precedent, And there's a lot of things that I want answers to. You've been very accommodating to me when we've talked, but our discussions never came to a final conclusion, money-wise and things. So I have two things in particular. I'll put them on the agenda, but this has set a precedent, and I feel in some respect this is targeting people. And like,
So I asked for this to be on the agenda about 5 months ago. I thought it was our responsibility to report back to the public as to, so when an open meeting law violation comes forward, we have to publicly accept it, which we do. And then there's a lot of time that goes by before it is cleared. And there hasn't been a mechanism in which we have reported back out what the results of that complaint was. And so I think we owe it to the public and to be transparent about what has happened with the violations. And so I did ask for this several months ago. I've actually asked a couple of times, and it finally made it on an agenda. So I guess the precedent is if you ask 4 times, it gets on an agenda, but it is here in front of us. And I think it's important to show that there's been 23 complaints filed since November of 2023. We had 3 violations. They were in early part of 2024. There are 5 complaints that are still being reviewed, and 15 that show that either there was no violation or where they were withdrawn, satisfaction with remedial action that was taken, but that the board is doing all of the proper things. So we learned from the ones that we had in November 2023, January 2024, February 2024. Some of those, if you go back to them, they were the same issue. We just were unaware that we had done the wrong thing, and we found out 10 months later that we did, and we've cleaned it up. So I think it tells the story that we've learned, we've moved on, and we're continuing to operate within open meeting law and at least do our best. So I
don't
appreciate.
disagree with anything you said, but what I do say is, why have so many times this happened to us? Why? Because there's been questionable things that have been done. And what is it? It's up to the board, our chairman, to make sure the agenda is set properly. And other people before Mr. Duval, I've never been the chairman. I was asked the last time by Ann, and I really wanted to, but I looked at the town the way our standing is now financially, and I think we're on a precipice of falling into dark times. And that is one reason I agree wholeheartedly what was said by Christine, but to me, that's a precedent, because I've never seen this since I've been on the board, and I'm in my 13th year, to have something filed in that manner. So when I bring stuff forward to you in the near future, I want it all written down in a format like that so it can be understood and I can present to the public things that I'm wondering about. And I know a lot of people talk with me and they're wondering about them too. So I'll let it be at that.
The information was provided by KP Law. They generated the chart and all the information that goes with it. We did not generate that information.
That's okay.
Just to provide information, and it does, the precedent is that the board has, early on, as Christine indicated, had some minutes, updates, or agendas that we had issues with. We fixed those, and there's been many open meeting law complaints provided to the board, and we approve it to go to legal counsel, but then nobody hears how it ends up. So we want the public hears we got a violation of the open meeting law submission, and then there's never a response. So we just, the KP Law summarized everything. It's for information, is their right to submit these, but the board has done much better in recent history. So it does indicate a story there that we are improving. And many of these aren't identified as violations.
And I'm just going to lastly say on that, this shows and tells to me, the people of this town, that there are people that constantly agree with one another and cover up for them. And I'm getting to the point where I'm not scared to say this. And I'm an outsider, and I'm happy that way. I'm for the common folk of this community. And when I see things happening, and I'm not going to run again, but when I leave this post as a selectman in 2 years, I want to feel that I made a difference for the common folk of this town. Because a lot of us sit in these chairs with good jobs, adequate money to pay their bills and their taxes, while others out in the community, a lot of them are struggling. And I'm stopping there. And that's the last word I'll say.
Again, this is information that a board member requested and it was provided.
Okay, so
And that's
I'm
all
gonna
this
be
is. And if
requesting some too.
That's wonderful, but that's what this is this evening.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else? Any discussion? Okay, now we had anyone in the audience who wanted to, in regards to the chart itself, we're going to go, next agenda item will be what the costs were. Does anyone in the audience have anything they'd like to add to this discussion? Okay. All right, moving on to the next item is the open meeting law and public records request time billed. Holly, start us off.
So I have an explanation of the 4 reports. The first one is time billed to open meeting law, and then second is time billed to public records law. The third is time billed to the general matter but relevant to the open meeting law. This was before we had a dedicated open meeting law matter, that sheet. And number 4 is time billed to the general matter but relative to the public records law. And again, this was before we had a dedicated public records law matter. These reports only capture time through August of 2025. The total of all this approximate time is $24,000.
Any discussion on that agenda item? Anyone from the audience want to speak to that, sure?
So for the time billed, I noticed that the board refers every single matter to the attorney, every public records request, every open meeting violation complaint. And I don't think that we necessarily have to do that. And I want to talk about something in particular. John, you mentioned in November, we learned from something, from not approving executive session minutes. But the problem is, we're doing it again. And when I filed a complaint, there's a process that you folks just skip the let's fix this and let's figure it out part, and you just go right to saying it to the attorney. So I think you know that there weren't enough executive session minutes approved. You approved 2 of them, and now the attorney says it's cured. Well, it's not cured. But instead of going to the attorney and paying the attorney hundreds of dollars to say, oh, this is cured, we approve them now, why don't you just say, we're going to discuss this at an open meeting? And why don't you say, you know what, last year we made a change and we said that the chair would start approving these, and we had hoped that that would streamline things, but, well, it didn't streamline things, so we'd like to try something different. And you could either say, what do you suggest? Or you could say, we're going to try the first meeting of every month. We're just going to ensure that we don't have any executive session minutes that should be approved, that can be approved now. If you were to say that, that's my complaint. So if you were to say that to me, do you think I would request a determination from the Attorney General? No, because first of all, the problem's solved, but second of all, I would look like kind of a fool saying, oh, but they said they would fix it, but I want you to say it's a violation. So there's a different way of fixing these without always having to get attorneys involved. And for whatever reason, the attorney never wants to admit, oh yeah, we screwed up, but we're gonna try to fix it. I just think you should think about that. I think some of these complaints that come through, you have the ability to look at it and say, oh, okay, or maybe even say, hey, we don't think it's a complaint and here's why, let's talk about it. Because there's no reason you can't talk about it at a meeting, especially if the person who made the complaint is there, and, you might have a discussion about it and everybody might go away being happy. No attorney's fees, no violations. It's just something to think about.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, and for the executive session that I referenced, I haven't responded to that. The attorney has, but if you want to reapproach that, and if you want to say, hey, we're going to talk about that, we're going to do something different, I won't request a determination. I just want it to work right.
Okay.
So get in touch with me if you think that you want to take a second shot at that one, and it can just end here.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? Okay. Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Cruised through that, and I see my name on a couple of them, and I just want to say I totally support and applaud taking a look at what the town is spending on attorneys that may or may not be necessary. And for my part, in the experience I had with the town attorney, I asked for some records and got a little bit of them, and I went back to the town and said, I'm aware that there are more records than this, so can you please send the rest? And then I went to the attorney, and the attorney says you can go to the state. But there are more. And I said to the attorney, I don't see any reason to work with attorneys. I'd rather work directly with the town. So can you please just send the rest of the records? Radio silence. So then I had to go to the state and appeal to the supervisor of records. And then I got the second set of records, which were extremely relevant for some of the issues that I've talked about before, and I won't belabor tonight. And yet, there were still not all the records, the important records released, and some of which were easily identified because they were referred to in the first two set of records. So this time I didn't bother with the town attorney. I went straight and said, hey, can you talk to them? I went straight to the supervisor of records and said, for example, in this email, they refer to this video and this X, Y, and Z. And then I got that video in X, Y, and Z. So I think some of it is, and Haley does an amazing job. I don't know how she keeps up with all of it. She does an amazing job. But I wonder, I think sometimes there's some maybe confusion on the part of, she can only do what she reaches out and asks for and what she's received, unless I'm much mistaken on how the process works. So I guess I would just put out that maybe it might save some attorney's fees, at least in public records requests, and save maybe some of Haley's time if maybe there were a little more refresher on how to respond to public records requests. That's all.
Okay,
I'm all about, I agree, save money where we can.
thank you.
I
Mr.
have,
Chair- oh, go ahead.
okay.
No, go ahead, Joe.
Go ahead, no, go right ahead, you had your hand up first.
It's okay.
Okay, well, what I'm saying is, this has really gone on so long, and I think what happens in this community is there's type of, you're not fitting the mold, and so it becomes abrasive between the parties that need to resolve a matter. And Kathy, I don't know how you can come up to that podium and be so calm and so direct, because you've been put through the ringer, because you've been trying to get this going. It was okay, you had your permits, but then all of a sudden, it seemed like it became strong-handed, where you don't have this, you don't have that. And like Dave Bazillion said, let's work together, not just on events, but let's work together on a community with people who are willing to start a business. We worked with them quite well. The beginning was kind of a, toss-up, teeter-totter type of thing, but then we got people together, and they were given the okay to do what they're doing. And when new people came to the helm of leadership who oversee this, won't mention names, they stepped in quickly, looked for every type of law or thing that needed to be brought out to these people. And I agree in laws, you have to have them. But when you are given something and all of a sudden the powers to be come forward again and say, you don't have this, you don't have that. Now, I was told, and I'm saying it outright, Christian calls me, and he's fit to be tied. And now, because of what's been told to them, they're down to 2 campsites because they don't meet the parameters with the Board of Health. They don't meet the parameters with our, powers to be, in other words. So why does that happen when you gain something and you were given the okay to go forward, and all of a sudden new leadership comes in and...
A point of order, we're supposed to be talking about public records request and the time that was billed and the expense that it was.
Okay.
And you're talking about a matter that is not in these documents.
Well, I think that this matter has been going long enough to resolve it for these people.
So point of order to the chair.
Okay. All right, I'll stop there.
Okay.
Chair, can I, through the chair, address Christine's concern? Because I think it is a public record.
It's something, if it's it's part of this agenda item.
Yeah. So,
Can you point to the public record that you're talking about that's in our packet?
yes, but I have to put my glasses up so I can read it, and give me a second to look through it.
I just want to make sure we stay to the agenda and we don't violate open meeting law.
Understood?
Thank you.
No, I'm on open meeting law, hold on. Are the records first or the open meeting law first?
Open meeting law was first.
So what page do the public records?
I have it as a packet of pages 1 of 3. So it's a 3-page packet.
Okay, so maybe they're ahead of it in mine. Public records requests. Thank you. Okay, it is a public request, records request, but it is between 8:19 and now.
So it's not on that
So
list?
it's not on this page.
Okay, we'd have to wait till next.
Okay.
Yes, thank you, though. All right.
Mr. Chairman, I did have a question about public records requests. So with public records requests, we are able to charge a nominal fee. The town clerk is here, so I'm wondering if the town clerk would be able to tell us in 2025 how much we've collected in public records request fees that we've collected.
If she has that information,
Do you
come up
have
to
that
the podium.
information?
That is part of the agenda item.
That can offset legal fees.
I will say that we've collected under $200.
Okay. All right, thank you.
May I ask, through the chair, Christine, have you approached Haley prior to this meeting, asking that question to her?
No?
No? Okay,
Did I?
okay. Because it seems pretty odd that you could come up with it so, closely.
She provided an estimate the best she
Yeah,
could.
okay.
Yeah.
There's nothing
It's
specific.
an estimate of what we've collected so far.
Okay.
Typically, I can tell you that we do not collect any fees for public records requests.
Yeah,
But we have had some recently, so that's how I know that number.
okay, thank you.
Thank you. All right, anything else under open meeting law and public records requests? Time billed. Next is licenses. There are 3. We did receive a overview from Talia.
Mr. Chairman, I'm going to recuse myself from the license discussion because I'm one of the organizers of one of the licenses.
Okay. So the first one is a one-day liquor license application for the Bounty Fair to serve wine and malt at the Greylock Glen Outdoor Center, 165 Gould Road, Adams, on Thursday, October 30th, 2025, from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. What is the board's pleasure?
I'll make a motion that we approve a one-day liquor license application for the Bounty Fair to serve wine and malt at the Greylock Glen Outdoor Center, 165 Gould Road, Adams, Mass, on Thursday, October 30th, 2025, from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m.
Motion by Ann, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Jay, discussion. Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, none, unanimous decision. The next one-day liquor license application for Mark Sparks to serve wine and malt at the Greylock Glen Outdoor Center, 165 Gould Road in Adams, on Saturday, October 25th, 2025, from 12 p.m. to 5 p.m. Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion that we approve a one-day liquor license application for Mark Sparks to serve wine and malt at the Greylock Glen Outdoor Center, 165 Gould Road, Adams, Mass, on Saturday, October 25th, 2025, from 12 p.m. to 5 p.m.
Motion by Ann, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Jay, any discussion?
Yes, I have a discussion. I have a question. Now, Mark Sparks was the gentleman that we've been trying for how long to sign a contract with our community. And so we're just allowing him, and on our next application, to go up there, serve, make money, and we can't get him to sign a contract with us. Why not?
Well,
How
that's-
long have we been waiting,
that's-
Chairman Duval, to try to get?
You're fired up today, but the
I should be.
Item B is that's what's on the agenda, and that's what we talk about, is the request for the license. That's all we're going to talk about in regards to that. If you want the status, request the agenda item for the next meeting, and it takes 4 or 5 times to get it on the agenda, I heard. But just ask for the agenda item for the next meeting, we'll put it on. And I think Danny's coming November 5th anyways to give us an update, so Danny Doyle, so.
We can talk about that at that time.
At that time, yes, it's on the agenda. Okay. Okay, we have a motion, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, I want to make sure we had that. Is that
Yep.
correct? Okay. Any further discussion?
Yeah, I have a
Jay?
question. So on the agenda, it's for wine and malt, but then on our packet here, it says serve all alcohol.
That one has been corrected to wine and malt.
So it should be wine and
It
malt
should be
as the
wine and
agenda
malt.
is, okay.
Okay. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, none, unanimous. And the final license request is a one-day liquor license application for Mark Sparks to serve wine and malt at the Greylock Glen Outdoor Center, 165 Gould Road, Adams, on Sunday, October 26, 2025, from 12 p.m. to 5 p.m.
I make a motion that we approve a one-day liquor license application for Mark Sparks to serve wine and malt at the Greylock Glen Outdoor Center, 165 Gould Road, Adams, Mass, on Sunday, October 26, 2025, from 12 p.m. to 5 p.m.
Motion by Ann, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Jay. Any final discussion?
Yeah, I'm wondering, is Mr. Sparks paying any money to the town for having the ability to go up there and make money? Is he paying us anything for allowing the use of our outdoor center?
I don't think we charge the bounty fair or anyone
Oh,
at
okay.
this point.
Okay.
So it's similar to the other ones. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Any abstentions?
I'll abstain.
All right, 3 in favor, 1 abstention.
I appreciate you. Thank you.
Moving on to communications, 2025 Town of Adams Special Election Calendar. Our town clerk, Haley Mezawar.
I'm getting my steps in tonight. So I just want to remind everybody out in TV land that November 4th is the special town election. It will be from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. at the Adams Memorial Building at 30 Columbia Street. This is for a debt exclusion ballot question. That is the only thing on the ballot. So if you're so inclined and you want to come out and see us on November 4th, we'd be happy to see you and say hello and give you a ballot and let you vote. Ballots are in, early and absentee ballots are here. If you have requested one, you should have already received it in the mail. If you haven't received it, feel free to reach out to my office and we will be more than happy to try to locate it. Do know that it does go through the mail, and we do not have control of the post office. So please reach out if you have not received your ballot, if you've already requested it. We did mail a few out today. But those are just a handful, so you should have already received your ballot. Again, the election is November 4th. It will be from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. at the Adams Memorial Building at 30 Columbia Street. If you cannot make it to vote on November 4th, you can always come in and vote in person, absentee. We're more than happy to accommodate you that way. Or you can request that we mail you a ballot and that you can mail it back. Again, we don't have control over the post office, and all ballots need to be in the hands of the voting by 7 p.m. on November 4th. So you can leave them in the drop box out front, you can bring them in, you can mail them through the mail, but again, they all need to be in our hands by 7 p.m. on November 4th in order for them to be counted. Thank you.
Through the
You have a
chair,
question? Yeah.
Haley, if you have a chance, can you tell the people watching what a debt exclusion is?
Well, I'll read you what it says on the ballot. Shall the town of Adams be allowed to exempt from the provisions of Proposition 2 and 1/2, so-called the amounts required to pay the town of Adams' allocable share of the bond issued by the Northern Berkshire Vocational Regional School District for the purpose of paying costs for the McCann Tech High School Accelerated Repair Program at 70 Hodges Cross Road in North Adams for school building roof repairs and exterior glass replacement, including the payment of all costs incidental and related thereto. This would allow the town not to include this debt within within our levy limit of Prop 2.5. That's about as much as I can tell you about that.
That's all they need to know, I think. Thank you.
All right, anything else for Haley? Okay, moving on to announcement. The First Congregational Church, 42 Park Street in Adams, is hosting a food pantry on October 15th from 5 to 7 p.m. Delivery is available via request at 346-8884. And the only item left on the agenda is adjournment. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Well, I'd like to just comment on that announcement, may I?
Go ahead,
It's
yeah.
just very quickly.
Yep.
Reading something like that is telling me, and it should tell others, that people are having a hard time in this community. And we have so many people, and it's always been that way, when we, every second Tuesday, the food bank from, I think out of Hadley or somewhere down in the valley come. And that parking lot is packed, completely packed. And in the very near future, it's kind of happening now. WIC programs are beginning to be lessened. And this seems to be a continual trend in our federal government with the leadership of our country. So let's help out people the best that we can that are in need of help. And that's what I'd like to say.
Thank you. Okay, motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion for adjournment.
Motion by Ann, do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Jay. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.